with the second short story done, I just want to talk about the learnings that I did from that. First and foremost, writing version 1.00, writing in my book, Dair, was a breeze this time around. It was done on the 10th, I don't know if you can see it, the 10th of March this year. And Calamity, the last version of Calamity, was published on December 23rd last year. So that actually means that I only spent 78 days from my first short story was done until I had this first version of Dair done, which was incredibly quick. I did not expect that to go so well. It was because of the write at least 15 minutes a day rule that I've imposed on myself. Today, that we just published Dair is the 21st of July. How did that happen? If I was done on March 10th, because that's actually a longer time. That's 133 days. 133 days. How did I spend so long?
How? 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 I don't know.
I'll tell you what happened. It was a mix of a serious, real rough patch. So first of all, I've had Calamity done in my head for a long time. Long time. So we're talking years before I actually started to write it. I going around, thinking about it, writing a little bit down, thinking about it. So that was sort of done in my mind. So it was a very, very clear path to Calamity. And then Dair, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do. I sort of have a rough idea for pretty much all of my journeys. But Dair was the first one where I really had to make stuff up on the spot. That was a lot of... And that, I think, very much resulted in what I call my first real rough patch. I got hit by serious self-doubt around May, and that was after I digitized it. So I had to start translating and revising stuff, and I started questioning every single sentence that I wrote, which made that really hard, and combined that with I have work responsibilities, of course. But yeah, this self-doubt really halted progression. And it actually took a random conversation with a dear friend of mine to realize that my own goal with Journeys is not to create the perfect product, firsthand at least. It's to learn how to write and to get better, improve, and go back and change things up and make them better. So when you look back at it, self-doubt really makes no sense in that regard, because the idea is to be open to going back and changing things up when I improve. So that was weird, and it lasted for a long time, at least all of May and most of June, when I wasn't working. Now let me get back to the 15 minutes a day rule that I have. I've sort of gamified the experience, But yeah, writing something for 15 minutes a day makes you get started. Or at least if you're feeling down or you don't have a lot of time, then you've done something that day, and it really it works so well for me. But for Dair, I changed that to 15 minutes of writing something new every day.
The rules have just changed.
And the idea behind that was that I would then always be progressing in this project. And when I say something new, I mean find out a new name for a character, write a backstory for a new character, write religion, write culture. So like when I was digitizing stuff and transcribing stuff, or translating stuff or revising stuff, I would always be progressing. And that's a good idea, but the result was when I had my rough patch in May and June, I didn't get far with Dair, Because, and I'll show you now, here's my habit tracker. This is an app that I use. You can see here in March, it went pretty well, 3 hours of work time. That's a really good thing about 15 minutes a day. It's often just to get started, and then if you have the time, you sort of keep going. April was even better. Then May hits 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 15, 20, 20. And every time there's a 20, 15 minutes here, means that I'm not working on Danger because I have to write something new. That was a rule, and it was sort of the same with June. It was a little better in the beginning, and then work stuff happened, and we ended June on a low note. So yeah, here's the statistics for the month. It was going really well. February, damn, it's going cool. March, oh yeah, we get it done. We start digitizing everything and get it done by April. And then May hits, trying to build my way out of it, but not a lot of work is actually happening on Danger. And that's the danger of the new rule. Well, this actually meant that I've done a good progress on the next story. The background is almost done for the characters. The story beats is practically done, but we'll need like the first draft of it. But it also meant that it took 133 days for me to actually publish a story after I'd written the first version. What does this mean going forward? I'm gonna revert the 15 minutes writing something new per day rule back to just 15 minutes of writing something. Although I think it's a good idea to have some progression. The problem arises when the 15 minutes is all the time that I have in a day, or all that I can manage because I'm feeling down or whatever. And that shouldn't be a block on a current story, which sort of like, it's the main thing. So yeah, maybe I'm thinking of having, like, if I have the time, maybe do 15 minutes of writing something new and then go into the current project, So I got this sort of, I am always progressing, but I'm still both progressing the current project and the future projects. Also because it just feels nice right now that I am done with Danger, that I know that the next story is well along and I don't have to start from scratch. And lastly, I need to be better and reminding myself that this is a learning project. I tend to be really focused on trying to make things perfect the first time around. And that's cool when you have a good, nice product and all when it's done, but it just takes a while. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I had this rough patch. I did not know if it was perfect. I couldn't see for myself if it was perfect, but it shouldn't have mattered. I need to remind myself that it's okay to suck and then go back and change things up and make it better. That's the takeaways that I learned from writing my second short story, Danger. I would love to hear thoughts. Love to hear if you guys have been through something similar and how you dealt with it. Rough patches and discipline rules and all that jazz. It is now January 2025 and I've just finished recording the reading of Danger. Yes, it had taken me almost 6 months to actually record the reading, that's never gonna happen again. But I also found it a little fascinating because this time around I read from a printed copy, and honestly it felt much better than reading from a screen like I did last time. So that's a learning that I'm going to continue with moving forward. I also realized that if I follow along with my pen as I read, as if I was in school, I would mumble much less and I would actually make many more coherent sentences. It's a sentence. Many more coherent sentences. Yes. Which in the end hopefully makes the editing process of it much shorter. Another thing, I learned that when I read stuff out loud, I can much better see that a sentence is weird, long, difficult. Well, I could actually, write things down as I found them and what it was supposed to be, and then I can go back and update this story to a new version. I think that's all of them combined with all the stuff that I learned half a year ago when I actually wrote Danger. Thank you guys so much for watching. The journey continues.